can a man who spoke face to face with his Creator escape death? What was the final end of the mighty prophet who tamed the raging Red Sea with his staff and freed his people from the yoke of centuries of slavery? How did the man before whom mountains trembled confront the unseen angel of death? This story is about Moses, the prophet, whose honor is higher than all other prophets, yet who, like any other mortal, was bound by the unavoidable decree of death. This is no ordinary tale. It is the tragic final story of Moses, the hours that made his children, wife, and mother weep bitterly and caused heaven and earth to mourn. When the angel of death appeared to him in human form, what transpired? How much sorrowful weeping flowed when he spoke his final Sabbath blessing to his family? We have brought you a heartbreaking story found in the ancient archives of our church, which many have never heard. If you stay with us for a few minutes, you will find comfort for your soul. This is the tragic final journey of the chief of prophets, Moses. Who among human history was like him? A prophet who conversed with his Creator face to face as a friend. A great man who led his people from slavery and parted the Red Sea in two. Yet, in his heart, he carried one question for years: the unavoidable end of the flesh. One day, in the midst of his prayer, Moses pleaded with his Lord. "O Lord, Master of all things, I beseech you by your name to let me know the day you shall separate my soul from my body." God decided to reveal to Moses a great mystery that he had not revealed to any prophet or angel before. The voice resonated in Moses' heart. "Listen, my friend Moses, I shall take your soul on a Friday." The appointment was set. From that day on, the life of Moses was shaken. For 7 long years, every time Friday arrived, he began to wait for the angel of death. He would bathe, put on clean white linen, shroud himself in a veil, and prepare to receive death like a bridegroom. He spent 7 years, 364 Fridays, in waiting. The appointment seemed forgotten. Had the Creator changed his mind? But one day, after the 7 years had passed, Moses came down from Mount Sinai and was praying in solitude when he saw a young man standing before him. He was handsome and looked like an Israelite. The young man said, "Moses, son of Amram, peace be unto you." The sound of the greeting was not like that of any other human. It penetrated Moses' bones, echoed like thunder, and shook him like iron. Instantly, Moses' throat was choked, and words could not escape his lips. The mighty prophet's knees buckled. He fell on his face upon the earth, overwhelmed by shock and terror. "I have never heard a voice as terrifying as yours. Who are you?" he asked in distress. The young man's answer was the shocking truth he had been waiting for 7 years, yet was never truly prepared for. "Moses, do you not know me?" The voice seemed to kill the very air around him. "I am the one who separates mother from child and husband from wife. I am the one who populates the graves until the end of the world. I am the Angel of Death Suriel. I have come to present your soul before God. Your final hour has arrived." Moses pleaded in the name of the God who sent the angel to allow him just until 3 o'clock the next day to say goodbye to his children and wife. God heard the final request of his friend and allowed it for a time, leaving the angel of death, knowing the day appointed for him. Moses descended from Mount Sinai, dragging his heavy heart. He did not even know which direction his feet were taking him. Soon, he reached a fork in the road, one path leading to his mother's home, the other to his wife and children. He stopped for a moment, his sorrow-stricken mind unable to decide which path to take first. In that moment of decision, a voice from heaven whispered, "Moses, go to your mother first." When he reached his mother's house and knocked, she opened the door, and the sight upon his face pierced her heart. The light of his face had vanished. It had darkened like a cloud. In shock, she asked in distress, my son, what has happened to you? Who has startled you?" In a weak voice, Moses spoke the cold words of reality. My mother, without God, who would call me, and without death, who would fear me. The words were like lightning. His mother shook in terror. How can this be? She said. Will the friend of God, who spoke with him face to face 570 times, die? Moses, his eyes filled with tears, said, Yes, mother. No creature that has donned the flesh can escape tasting the cup of death. He asked her to pray for his farewell. Thinking of the vanity of this world, and knowing she was about to be torn from her son by death, she wept bitterly. Then, with his heart lost and his feet heavy with grief, he headed to his wife's home. As soon as she saw him, she saw the darkness of his face and the breaking of his heart. Moses, what has happened to you? Did you lose your possessions? Who has threatened you? He repeated the same tragic answer. Then came the final and heaviest part of the farewell. My children, where are my children? He asked. His wife, bathed in tears, woke them from their sweet sleep. She whispered, Come to your father. Say goodbye, for you may never see him again. The innocent children approached their father. When they saw his appearance, even in their youth, they understood the depth of the sorrow. They fell at his feet, their breathing ragged, weeping bitterly. The youngest child, with heartbreaking words that expressed the feelings of all, said to his older brother, Brother, we are separated from our father now. From now on, the one who loved us will leave us. The one who honored us will be shamed. The one who cherished us will cast us away, and those who hate us will persecute us. Hearing the words of his children, Moses could no longer withstand the tide of his grief. He wept aloud with them. In that moment, it was not only Moses' eyes that wept. Heaven and earth wept with the great prophet. The lamentation of Moses, the mourning of his wife, and the crying of his children reached the heavens. In that deep tide of sorrow and despair, the world seemed silent. Suddenly, a voice from above the heavens, deeper than thunder, softer than a whisper, pierced Moses' soul. Moses, what makes you weep? Is it because you are leaving the earth, or is it because you fear death? Moses, through his tears, looked up and said, O Lord, I do not fear death. I do not refuse to go where you command, but I am heartbroken, wondering to whom I shall leave these two children. My wife's father, Jethro, is dead. My brother Aaron has passed, and now I am going. To whom shall I leave these innocents? The Creator's answer was like a melody, reminding him of memory, renewing his faith. Moses, when you were born, and your mother Jochebed, fearing the cruelty of Pharaoh, placed you in a basket and left you on the Nile, did you forget me? Did I not silence the mouth of the king and cause you to be raised in love in the embrace of his own daughter Thermutis? Was it not I who protected you for 40 years while you lived in the palace? Then came the command, Now, rise, take your staff, and strike the Red Sea. Moses, still in his sorrow, obeyed. He went to the shore, took the staff that had freed Israel, and struck the depth of the sea. The sea was shaken. From the depths, a massive stone rolled out and fell before Moses. God said again, Moses, strike this stone. When Moses struck it, the stone split in two. Inside, by a miraculous wonder, there was a tiny worm. It held a green blade of grass in its mouth. It seemed to be thanking its creator in its own language, as if saying, Blessed be God, who did not withhold my food while I was inside a solid stone in the sea, and who has not forgotten me until this hour. God then said to his friend for the last time, Moses, look, I, who did not forget this worm that was in a solid stone covered by water in the dark sea, do you think I would forget your children, who pray to me and love me? In that short moment, Moses' tears of grief were turned into a prayer of faith. His heart filled with great comfort, he returned to his family and told them of God's wonderful promise. Do not be sad, "Do not be sad. The Creator of us all is with you." He comforted them. He hugged them one last time, kissed them one last time, and left his home. His heart was now filled not only with sorrow, but with divine hope. The prophet Moses, the mighty man of God, was now alone. With his face darkened and his path unknown, he began to walk into the wilderness. He knew that every step was his last. Every rustle of the wind sounded like a whisper of farewell. On this solitary journey, in a place untrodden by man, he saw something amazing. Two young men, their faces shining with light, were silently digging a grave. They were the holy angels, Saint Gabriel and Saint Michael, appearing in human form. Moses did not know them. He approached and greeted them. "For whom are you digging this grave?" he asked with curiosity. The young men's response was touching and mysterious. "We are digging it for a great man who is a friend of God." Moses' heart was filled with kindness. As he considered himself a friend of God, he wanted to contribute to the preparations for such an honorable person. "If it is for a friend of God, let me help you," he said. The innocent Moses did not suspect in the slightest that he was helping prepare his own final resting place with his own hands. He joined them and began to dig. When they finished, one of the angels said to him, "The man we are to bury has a stature and height just like yours. We are afraid the grave might be too small and cause him trouble. Please step inside the grave and let us measure it once." This was the final call. The innocent Moses, without hesitation, in his sincerity to help a stranger, stepped into the grave. There, in the darkness and silence, he met the angel of death face to face. The angel said with honor, "Moses, son of Amram, peace be unto you." In that moment, the world's timing stopped for Moses. The soul of the prophet Moses departed from his body in silence. He tasted the cup that all flesh must drink. The angels buried him with great honor and hid his grave so that no one would know it. His earthly journey ended, but the story of his spiritual glory had just begun. The great prophet, the friend of God, left behind a great mystery. Where is his grave? For thousands of years, many have asked, many have searched, but until today, no one knows where the grave of Moses lies. Whether in the desert mountains or the depths of the valleys, no one knows. If we ask why, the story tells us this was not an accidental event, but a divine decision. God himself hid his grave from human eyes so that the Israelites, out of their deep love and sorrow, would not turn it into an idol and worship it, so that their love would not turn into worship and their respect would not cross the line between the Creator and the creature. The final resting place of the great prophet remained a mystery. The story of Moses' death teaches us a great truth about life and faith, which is greater than death itself. It teaches us that death is the final appointment that no living being can escape. Even the mighty Moses, who spoke with the Creator, parted the sea, and brought manna from heaven, did not escape this law. This clearly shows that man's identity on earth is temporary, but the story of Moses does not end at the grave. Although his physical body was buried, his spiritual glory and holiness are alive today. The law he taught his people, the journey he led from slavery to freedom, and above all, God's promise, remain beyond death forever. The God who did not forget the worm and the stone in the sea is the source of comfort for all who live in hope today. Thus, the earthly journey of Moses ended in a grave, but his spiritual honor is still told brightly in the annals of history and faith. The path he walked is the path of us all, but the story he left behind is an eternal light reminding us that there is life after death. May the grace and blessing of the chief of prophets, Moses, never leave us. May the peace of God be with us all. Amen.